love new friends.
Hey.
We love new friends.
Yes, not Cece, but here I am.
I know. I love it. Hey, welcome inside. I always see you outside.
I know. Bearing, the weather, the extreme temps, but here I am.
Right?
Nice and cozy.
It rained enough to go ahead and bring Michelle inside. Thank you so much for joining us here at KARE 11 News at noon. On this wet Thursday, we're following a lot of breaking news involving protests on college campuses all around the country. Michelle is in for Cece today, and that's actually a story you've been working on.
Yeah, correct. That's right. It's been a busy morning here at the U of M. Just within the past couple of hours, those anti-war encampments, those have been cleared. I'll have all the details for you.
Wow, very new. And of course, this weather, I knew it was going to rain. My hair got bigger.
Yeah, well, you know what? It should start getting a little smaller later today because I think we're done with the steady rain, at least for now. This is a live look at our radar satellite composite. After steadily raining since about 5 o'clock this morning, you can see the steady rain is pushing off to our north and east. So it arrived a couple hours earlier than forecast. So it's exiting a couple hours than forecast. Now, we are still going to stick with the mostly cloudy sky. And look at how much rain we've seen since midnight. Already over a half an inch here. Rochester over an inch of rain. But notice areas in north central Minnesota, not much, and that's exactly where we do need it. We're going to show that drought monitor coming up here in a few minutes. But here's a live look outside. You can still see some rain droplets on the lens. Even though the steady rain is done, I still think we're going to see patchy areas of drizzle throughout the afternoon, and it looks like the overcast sky is going to continue as well. So don't expect to see a whole lot of sunshine over the next day or so. 51 degrees is our current temperature. With a low pressure system to our south, we have winds right out of the east. They have been gusty, but as that low moves closer to us, I think the wind's going to dim down at least a little bit. Your hour by hour forecast, not a whole lot of changes. Overcast conditions, temperatures right around 50 degrees, but we have warmer temperatures and more sunshine in your forecast. Details on that coming up, Alexis.
Ben, thank you. We have some late developing news from the U of M. Those anti-war encampments are now gone on campus, and buildings along the Northrop Mall are reopened again. So, Michelle, you've been on this story all week. This is a very new information for us. What can you tell us?
Yeah, huge developments all day today, not just today, actually within the hour as well. So noon, that was the deadline protesters said they would clear their encampment by. Just as the dozen buildings closed around Northrop Mall, they are now back open. So here is brand new video of the takedown around 90 minutes ago. The majority of the site cleared there. All these moving pieces were set into motion just minutes after sunrise ended when interim President Jeff Ettinger sent out this letter to everybody on campus. Now, this is big because it's the first time we're getting the details of what the president and protesters agreed on when they met yesterday for nearly 2 hours. In their full agreement, university leadership line by line addresses the 6 main demands. They say they will give protesters the chance to speak with the Board of Regents about divesting from companies doing business with Israel, also to protect protesters from arrest or criminal charges. But of course, it's give and take, right? The agreement also says this: you are committed to not organizing disruptions to finals and commencement. Now, this really is a critical time. Today, of course, is the start of finals and Alexa's graduation just days away.
I know a lot of people had questions about how this was going to continue with so many people coming into town for that. Thank you for keeping us updated, Michelle. And we just heard from President Biden about 2 hours ago about his stance on these campus protests.
Dissent is essential to democracy, but dissent must never lead to disorder or to denying the rights of others so students can finish the semester and their college education. This isn't a moment for politics. It's a moment for clarity. So let me be clear. Peaceful protest in America. Violent protest is not protected. Peaceful protest is. It's against the law when violence occurs.
Biden's words come just hours after police in riot gear started clearing the encampment at UCLA, where there have been clashes with protesters. Steve Patterson joins from Los Angeles.
And just like that, as the sun has risen after a long night of flashbangs and smoke and obscenities and people being pulled out of this encampment, for the most part, it is over. I'm standing in the middle of what was this encampment for about a week here in the campus of UCLA, the library, Royce Hall. All of this now just a big mess. Police came in very swiftly overnight for about 3 hours or so, peeling and pulling essentially this entire encampment system down while detaining dozens and dozens of protesters. In fact, the estimate is over 100 people were arrested because they fought back pretty aggressively as well. Some of those protesters fashioning sort of shields, putting on helmets, saying they are not moving for anybody, and they didn't until the very end. Police, though, saying essentially nobody was injured. That includes police officers when bottles were thrown at them, and that includes trying to do the best they could to not only keep themselves safe, but the protesters themselves safe as well. Meanwhile, the university said that this was unlawful, and now it's over. Back to you.
Steve, thank you. And Capitol Hill is responding to the protests. The Anti-Semitism Awareness Act is now headed to the Senate. The bill defines anti-Semitism as, quote, a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred toward Jews. It would make the Education Department use the definition to enforce anti-discrimination laws. The bill passed through the House last night with strong bipartisan support. We will continue to follow the latest on these protests, both on air and at KARE11.com. Well, today we know more about how the two Forest Lake High School track athletes who were hit by a car on Tuesday are doing. Right now, 15-year-old Jace Blanchard and Samuel Farinella are in the hospital. We're told that Samuel is fighting for his life. Troopers say that they were flown to the hospital after an 84-year-old driver hit them as they were crossing Highway 61 in a crosswalk. People in Forest Lake say they're keeping those two athletes in their prayers.
Definitely for healing, both physically and mentally. It's very tough what they've got to be going through.
As a community member, we will be praying for them and loving them with all our hearts.
State Patrol has identified the driver, but we are not naming that person right now since no charges have been filed. Troopers do not believe alcohol was a factor. When the investigation is finished, the case will be sent to the county attorney to determine if there will be charges. Well, in about 2.5 hours, the St. Paul Zoning Committee will hear an appeal that could change the plan for a controversial project to build a new arena at the University of St. Thomas. Construction on the new St. Thomas Arena has been on hold since April 16th. That's when neighbors filed a letter with the city of St. Paul citing environmental concerns and a lack of parking. St. Thomas says that they're following all the rules and guidelines, especially because of their location. Opponents argue the university could have chosen a different spot.
This is a project that is just way too huge for the neighborhood on a part where people live.
There are other locations where these would be smaller concerns, obviously away from the river bluff.
The university says they've looked but ultimately decided campus made the most sense. Construction will remain on pause until the appeal plays out, which could take a few months. Also happening this afternoon, some people who live in Woodbury are expected to demand the resignation of Democratic State Senator Nicole Mitchell. Senator Mitchell was arrested and charged with a felony count of burglary last week. Some say they now have doubts in her ability to represent them in the legislature. Mitchell returned to the Capitol a few days ago, despite motions from Republicans to keep her out. Democrats temporarily removed her from committee assignments. Mitchell represents Woodbury and a part of Maplewood. Well, we're taking a live look around I-494 in Bloomington, where the lunchtime drive may take you a little longer than usual. Just 7 hours ago, lanes narrowed to 2 near the Mall of America and the airport. Audrey Russo was out there this morning just as the rush ramped up.
The westbound side of 494 over Minnesota Lake is now down to 2 lanes. The MnDOT reduced the lanes around 5 o'clock this morning to some of the biggest commerce areas in the Twin Cities, including Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport and the Mall of America. The lane reduction stretches from 24th Ave in Bloomington to Pilot Knob Road through the Eagan and Mendota Heights area. The goal of the project is to repair this 43-year-old bridge, including fixing the pavement, improving the drainage and the lighting. And the price tag for all of this is $62 million. Alexis?
Audrey, thank you. A new option to travel across the Midwest will soon start in St. Paul. Amtrak is offering another daily train from St. Paul's Union Depot to Chicago. It will also stop in several Wisconsin cities, including La Crosse and Milwaukee. Fares start around $41 per trip. The new train starts running on May 21st.